Hey, I'm John Felt. This is the Blue Water Outlook Weekly Weather Briefing for the 16th of August. Large parts of the country are struggling with high heat and humidity this weekend, so the question is, when will that break and will other people be affected? I'll be talking about that and more in today's briefing. Okay, let's start off by looking at where we have our heat advisories. Central part of the U.S. and Florida. In addition to the heat this week, the other weather impact will be some soaking downpours, perhaps even some flash flooding in spots, mainly in the upper Midwest and parts of the far south. Now we take a look at where it rained last week, and we had a pretty widespread soaking rain off the East Coast, North and South Carolina, into Georgia. Parts of Florida had a pretty wet week, and then scattered areas of the upper Midwest. Now temperatures last week, above normal temperatures in areas in red and below normal in areas of green. So that really the hot weather that we're experiencing in the central U.S. right now didn't really click in till the second part of the week, so it didn't really affect all of this weekly average. But we did see that the high temperatures over the last week, anything in yellow made it above 100, and those little brown dots in there made it into 105. Now, what you'd expect in mid-August, dew points are quite muggy over the central and eastern U.S. That's what you would expect. So that combination of heat and humidity is giving a level 3 and even a few spotty level 4 heat index readings today across the Midwest. Okay, we take a look at the jet stream here, and the culprit for all the hot air is this heat dome, this area of high pressure. And that's going to be on the move. By Wednesday, that's going to be pushing off here to the west. Hey, what's this here? Stay tuned. I'll be talking about that in just a minute. And then as we get on next weekend, what we have here is the heat dome. The high pressure now is affecting the western U.S. And we have this wave here coming through, and that's going to bring some cooler air to parts of the areas that have really been hit with the heat. So we take a look at the temperatures in 5-day chunks here. You can see how the red, the hottest or the greatest temperature departures, gradually shift into the western U.S. And then we get this significant break here into the parts of the plains, Midwest, and Great Lakes, and eventually the Northeast. So it's going to feel much, much better in some of the areas that are getting the hot weather this weekend by mid to late week. And you can see that in the heat index here, how it gets sort of shrinks here. This is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and on Thursday, all that level 2, 3, and 4 is concentrated in the southwest and then the far southeast. So it's still going to be warm. It is August. We have a level 1 heat index, but it's going to be much more comfortable than many spots have seen. So anything in red here and purple, the first couple of days of the week, that's really even parts of Iowa, looks like it's not even in the heat index anymore. So relief's on the way. Now, you're probably hearing about Hurricane Aaron. I think what's interesting with this is that it went from a tropical storm all the way up to a major hurricane in 24 hours, 160 mile an hour winds, high confidence staying off the coast. But you can see the wind field here. It's going to get very close to the coast, so it's going to be breezy at Cape Hatteras, and the East Coast is going to have enhanced wave action and rip tides. Okay, so that's temperature, and then hurricane. Let's talk about rainfall. And you know, August is a quiet time of the year, late August into September. The jet stream's very quiet. We don't get a whole lot of organized activity if we don't get a tropical system. So some rain here and there, upper Midwest, parts of the southeast, but overall pretty quiet. Okay, let's look at weeks 2. Here's week 2. There's that lingering cooler air, southwest U.S. and the west and the southern tier, the hot weather. This is weeks 3 and 4. The southern tier of the U.S. being hot. And if you're in the Midwest and the Great Lakes and have had this hot spell, we could have a pretty decent break that goes into the first part of September. And as far as rainfall goes, I don't see anything, like I said, that's pretty typical for this time of year. Just nothing that excites me one way or the other. It could develop in there. I'll let you know in a weekly post, but right now it looks pretty quiet. So I guess the takeaway is many areas struggling with heat and humidity this week. Relief is on the way. Parts of the west and southwest looks like that heat dome's headed your way. Anyway, enjoy the weekend. Take care.